What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's doing very well. Good morning to each and every one of y'all. I'm sorry I am late, but it comes down to obviously the start time. Obviously, we get started at 6:30. But wanted to make sure I end up saying hey to everybody before we end up getting started. Let me go ahead and go through the disclaimer, go ahead and jump right into it, and then after that, we'll go ahead and make our move. I'm not a CTA, so I'm not going to tell you whether to buy or to sell. What I'm going to do is teach you education. From that education, you can be able to make your own informed decision. Now, understand that trading involves risk. It involves risk of being able to make money. Also involves risk of being able to lose money. So please keep that in mind and understand that past performance is not indicative of future results, which means that if you end up making money, um, if you end up making money yesterday, it's not promised that you end up making money today. So with that being said, get ready to show myself onto the screen. And then after that, obviously we're going to end up saying hey to everyone as we go through and be able to go from there. So what's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's doing very well. My name is Travis. If you're not familiar with who I am a trader. I've been trading for the last 6 years. Uh, mainly forex, crypto, indices, metals, and everything else like that. And what I'm going to end up doing within this overall 30-minute block is be able to um, talk about some trading opportunities, talk about some overall education, being able to interact with everybody when it comes down to overall news or anything else like that that could help you throughout your overall day, and also be able to see if we have any opportunities when it comes down to getting inside of the market. And if we do, then we end up taking it. If we don't, then we'll just look and be able to see what we can be able to find a little bit later on today in our evening session. So, with that being said, if you are live, make sure that you end up saying, hey, I just placed a message inside of the chat box. I see that the chat box is not working, or at least it's delayed. So what I'm going to do is make another area, and then after that, copy it. But here is your area for us being able to pop in and continue the conversation with our community Discord group inside of that overall link. If you're interested in being able to learn a little bit more about what we end up doing from a um, standpoint of automation systems and everything else like that, get prepared for FTMO challenges, service trader challenges, and everything else like that, you can be able to click on that link as well. All right. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into what's happening. See how the market is actually reacting, and then after that, obviously take our time and be able to go through these very quickly, but be very purposeful in what we end up doing for our times. Uh, my son JO2, what's going on? Good morning, full time. Typically 6:30 to 7. We try to get as close to 7 as possible. Sometimes may end up being a little bit less, but depending on the situation, depending on how everything's kind of looking, we try to go from there. But there you go. All right. So Monday, what's happening? President Lagarde's already done spoke. Fed Collins is going to end up speaking a little bit later on today, but today's pretty much a trader day, so we're going to treat it like that. When it comes down to all of our news, we're going to jump right into see what's happening for the overall pairs. Last night in our Sunday talk box, we left off and being able to say that Ethereum was actually inside of an area, and I'm actually going to start off with Ethereum because the first thing that popped up, but it was one of the trades we was looking at as well. Um, Ethereum has popped up and it's looking like it's going inside of an overall channel. I'm going to clear my screen and show and kind of show what it looks like when it comes down to this movement. Now, typically when you end up looking at channels like this, it can be a rising wedge, but we can see that the market is not converging. We can see that the market is kind of holding pace when it comes down to overall area. So the market has fell down to basically the 5-0 position, meaning that the market could be able to pop up to 1819. There is somewhat of a counter trend line break, and the market has held this overall position. So I wouldn't be surprised if the market goes up to 1725. Excuse me. I wouldn't be surprised if the market goes up to 1725, or uh, yeah, I probably be better off if the market goes up to 1725 all the way up to 1819. So 1725 would be the first take profit position. 1819 would be the overall take profit position from this overall movement. Um, and I would end up paying attention to that a little bit more as we go through and put everything else together. Okay, my messages have disappeared. What is going on? Uh, um, let's see. Let's see. What is this? Okay. Um, Let's see. All right, so am I, what is going on? Okay, am I even connected? Okay, I'm gonna go through this quickly. You're interested in being able to make a move. Look at counter trend line break with the market being able to push through this overall area. Um, let's see. Counter trend line break that could potentially end up happening right here. Kind of seeing how this market's going to end up reacting to it. I'm going to wait and see if the market does break above that overall area. If it does, then after that, I'd be interested in being able to make a move to the top side when it comes down to that. Stop loss will end up being below the swing low of this overall spot just to be safe and obviously to be very quick when it comes down to this move. Um, and so low is at 1548. I'll probably go 1545, somewhere around there would be the stop loss. And then after that, kind of move forward from there. So reason why I'm being very tight is because I don't know what's going to end up happening based off of this movement. Uh, there's an assumption that the market could pop up, but there's also an assumption that the market could basically stay in its overall place when it comes down to movement. So right here to right here will end up being overall take profit. What I would look for or take profit stop loss will end up being from here to here when it comes down to that overall area. Okay, so that is move from there. Let's go United States dollar index. All right, United States dollar index market has been falling since being able to hit that 1341 area. There was an opportunity that the market basically ended up popping up, but they actually ended up turning into a flag based off of that flag movement. And clearly see that the market is pushing to the downside, which means that when it comes down to indexes and everything else like that, they should be pushing up to the upside. And that is what's happening with most of the pairs that I'm looking at right now currently. Um, Yes, that's exactly what I'm looking at most pairs currently right now. So we do have a trend that we're working off of. Um, Market has made that flag has pushed to the downside. There's a chance that the market from this upside position. Let's take away. Um, Probably be this. If this market does fall, it could fall all the way down to the outer trend line, which was in this large area down here. It hasn't broke past the consolidation spot yet at 13,282. So it's really no entry yet. But if it does fall down, it could fall down to 13,248, which will end up being that area where the market would uh, basically drop down to overall. What's going on, Peter? Peter, answer this question. Can you see my messages? Uh, okay. Okay. This is stupid. I don't know if anybody can be able to hear my messages to see what's going on. I cannot message back. Okay. I'm just gonna keep on. I'm gonna keep on working. If I get a message from somebody, then I just keep on working. But for right now, this is what I'm saying. Obviously, I think this video is gonna get put down. Um, I'll end up going from there. All right. So consolidations at 13,282. The market has not broken below 13,282 yet, so we'll kind of stay away from there. Oil. I was in the oil, got into a buy. Market has popped back up, held above that 90 position. We talked about how the market could basically kind of hold in that area, and if it does hold in that area, I'll be interested in being able to buy. That's exactly what ended up happening. Caught it at 91.06 again. Currently, the market's at 92.52. We're on our way to that 94 area. I do believe that the market could get there. If it continues to be able to make that move, then obviously we'll be in a very good position overall when it comes down to this movement. Um, what has happened this morning? Okay, I got caught up on some breakout buys on Sunday and lost all those positions. I wasn't really paying attention. Okay, that's what you get sometimes. You got to see it. Okay, cool. So oil still on its way, being able to move up to 94.59. Currently, right now, we're in a good position, seeing how the market kind of reacts based off of that. Okay, um, going into the indexes, and to be honest, I'm going to end off right here when it comes down to these pairs. Because I don't see, obviously, I'm not able to message y'all. Um, all right, so US 30 talked about two different positions. One, we had a pending sale order at 31,940. Market never triggered in when it came down to that movement. Market has pushed up to the upside, has broken out of this consolidation block. Currently, right now, um, from that consolidation block to the upside, it has moved at this particular point about 85 points right now. From a 15-minute perspective, it should be close to the sell zone. So I'm going to see how the market kind of reacts off of this position first. Remember, it went block over a block, which means that typically you'll see the market kind of reject. But if it does push past this area and it keeps on moving, then it's going to go past that 32,300 area with really not much of an issue. 32,629 will probably be the area where I would see that, where I think that the market could continue to keep on moving up to the upside. But from there, we'll see that the market may end up falling down to be able to respect this past resistance term future support at 32,500, and then after that, kind of push from there. Want to see how the market kind of reacts right now. Currently, right now, we're not in a position. Um, I didn't place an pending buy order. I should have, but did not place an pending buy order because typically when you have block over block, you typically see the market move to the downside. So because I seen that, my thought process was the market going to move up to the upside. I mean, market was going to move to the downside and continue to keep on going from there. That did not happen. So we'll see how the market kind of reacts a little bit later on today. Nas 100. Nas 100, same situation. Market has went up to the top of resistance. We have not placed in that pending order yet, but my pending order was right around 10,650 as the next area where I would like to be able to get in. If the market does reject this area, that will be the trade that I would get in for that overall move. If it does pop up to the upside, then I think that it can be able to pop up to 11,000 very fairly easily before being able to make a move overall. Market's at 10,000. Currently, right now, the market's at 10,000. Oh, what's that number? 10,933. If the market does break out of this area, kind of like what's happening with US 30, I would look at being able to consider being able to make a move to the upside, where the market could go to 11,052 and have a brief stop loss somewhere around there, which will make it a 1 to 2 risk reward ratio. I don't like the risk reward on this one. Doesn't necessarily mean that I won't necessarily consider being able to get into a trade, but um, I want to see how the market reacts in this first, going into that 8 o'clock time before being able to make a move off of that. Let's see. Good morning, Wolf of Nasdaq. Tesla. Let's take a look at Tesla. Let's see. Okay. Going to do a few. Going to set this one up just a little bit. Oh, it's been a while since. Matter of fact, I haven't even did it on this chart. Go figure. I've taught off this chart, but I've never done anything with this chart. All right, so weekly. What's going on with the weekly? So market pushed all the way up to 416. That was the highest high when it came down to the movement. Here's your outer trend line. Outer trend line was broken. Um, right here. Typically, when you end up having a breakout, you end up having a retest. The retest end up happening on this backside of this move. Since then, you end up move end up having a you end up having a anytime that you end up having a breakout, typically they end up being a retest. Currently, right now, as we're looking at this, let's go through and let's take a look at it from a field perspective and see where it would go from a weekly perspective. And then after that, we'll start talking about what's going on from a volume perspective. And volume will actually end up telling you a better story when it comes down to what's happening. All right, so market went all the way up to the DP6. Currently, right now, the market completed the D extension right there when it came down to that movement. Second wave was from right here to, let's see, okay, I think I should the extension right there. We had 2 weeks of overall movement, so would have been right here. Let's undo that. Got rid of the wrong one. Good. Okay. Market went up to 86 again. Completed that move once again from there. New wave is right here. This is our current wave and where we're at this particular point. Market A, B went all the way up to the 5.0. From the 5.0, the market could fall all the way down to 98. I don't think that that's going to happen, but it could particularly happen overall if we're being very honest from a Fibonacci perspective. Now, the question is, what would be the catalyst, and why would the market fall all of that far to that position? Now, with that being said, let's talk about where we are when it comes down to pricing, because we do have a consolidation spot. There goes your high volume node right there. But we're not consolidating inside of that high volume node as of yet. Let's go to the daily and kind of get a little bit more clarification about what's happening. This was your consolidation high. There goes your natural support. Currently, right now, we're at the support again. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if people start looking at being able to buy this. I would not be surprised if people start looking at being able to buy this. Now, um, Wolf, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a person that likes to be able to trade outside of the consolidation. I don't like trading inside the consolidation because to me it means that you have a 33% chance of being able to win. But if I'm looking at it from this standpoint, from if I'm looking at it from this standpoint, you can do two separate things. If you believe that the market's going to end up going up bullish, then you can do a R4 type of trade. I mean, you can do a strategy 4 type of trade, which means that you buy into that support, you're trying to get it all the way back up to resistance. You're placing a stop loss just below the swing low, wherever that may end up being, depending on how the market kind of makes its move. That's a long-term hold type of strategy. But if there's any catalyst to be able to make the market move to the upside from this point, um, now you have an opportunity of being able to um, da, 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 da. now you have an opportunity of being able to see this thing kind of pop if it ends up holding natural support. The problem is that this market has hit this support 3 separate times, and you might end up seeing that this might end up being the final straw and seeing the market kind of move to the downside. Now, from a news perspective, there's no news that's going to end up making the market move to the downside as of yet. Um, or keep on moving to the downside as of yet. But that's also the same that there's really no news to be able to make Tesla pop up, at least not yet either. So kind of in the catch 22. So let's say hypothetically, if you can short based off of your account. The position where I think that the market could fall down to would end up being basically right around that 154.20 area with a stop loss just above this overall swing high. That'll make the risk reward 1 to 1.5. Typically, I go to 1 to, I like having a 1 to 2, 1 to 2.3 at the least when it comes down to risk reward ratio. But that is another opportunity and play that you can be able to go after, trying to go after this short little void of consolidated space from right here to right here. That will be the area that you're trying to be able to take advantage of, which will also end up being the top of that resistance. Now, obviously, I think there'll be more heavy pressure on people trying to buy at that position once it gets down to that level, especially if there's some type of good news. But that is the area where I think that the market could potentially end up falling. Currently, right now, I'm going to sit on my hands and kind of see how the market kind of reacts before being able to make a move off of that. Guy, hopefully that makes sense. Good morning to you as well. Hope everything's going well. But we talked about gold, talked about oil, talked about Bitcoin. No, we didn't talk about Bitcoin. We talked about Ethereum. Um, let's leave off of Bitcoin. Okay, Bitcoin. This was the thought process. I said that the market was in consolidation. It broke out of the overall high of this position at 20,000. I think it was like 21.2. No, I'm sorry, 21,100. Once the market ended up breaking out of that 21,100, it ended up starting to fall. Earlier in doing our Sunday talk box, I ended up saying that if the market falls all the way down to 20,500, that'll probably be the area where I'll be looking at being able to get in. Until there's a full counter trend line break above in this inner trend line area, I would not be interested in being able to make any move until that actually happens. Currently, right now, that has not happened, so I'm not going to end up making a move as of yet. Um, but the kind of that look of what's going on with this and what's going on with Ethereum is kind of letting you know that there could be a potential move to the upside, possibly, but we have to be able to pay attention to it overall when it comes down to that movement. And then we'll kind of go from there. But currently, right now, that's it for the overall thought process. You like what I ended up doing? Click on. You like what I ended up doing? Click onto the boost button. Um, Obviously, every one of y'all's comments and everything else like that allows us to be able to keep on pushing and kind of be able to go from there. Um, for the people that are in the community, I will end up getting in contact with y'all. Obviously, we'll talk about some overall opportunities that may end up happening from an upside move, and then we'll kind of move from there. Uh, and that is pretty much it. Uh, Tonight's session will probably end up being on Share Vision. So please make sure that you end up having your Share Vision stuff ready when it comes down to that. And we'll come ahead and move forward. Like always, plan your trade your plan. I'll see each and every one of y'all in the next video. Take it easy.